Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. It is.
Great. So this is, as I have mentioned, BTPMW Privilege Management for Windows, also known as EPM, or formerly known as a vector defined point. So what we will be covering in our course would basically describe the key components of privilege management for Windows, learn about the policy and deployment workflow. The policies are nothing but guidelines based on which our users would elevate their privileges at the runtime, and these are the rules, basically what application would be allowed, what application would not be allowed. So that is policy basically. Next, integrate privilege management for Windows with Beyond Insight. So some of you might know that Beyond Insight is a utility, a UVM, where a password safe is hosted, right? And PAM, basically BT PAM, and that's where we integrate our privilege management for Windows as well. So Beyond Insight in itself is a umbrella in which you can host multiple, or you can integrate with multiple tools. For example, password safe, PMUL, privilege management for Unix, Linux, PMW, and many more tools. All right. Next, we will see integrate privilege management for Windows with group policy. So group policy, GPO, as we all know, is a concept, a utility in our Active Directory structure or our domain, using which we can push policies into our servers and systems. Then we will learn about quick start policy. There is a predefined policies given by BeyondTrust, and they will be utilized for quickly getting to the space, the speed and pace. So that is called quick start policy. We will cover that very soon. All right. Next, we will be starting with the introduction, right, of PAM to this EPM tool. Then we will also see that how privilege management would cater to the needs of pushing policy through GPO, right? Then we will also see how privilege management, once integrated with Beyond Insight, can push the policy. Again, quick start policy will be covered in our course, right? Then what would be the use case, that when you should use Beyond Trust, Beyond Insight, right? How do you install endpoint? How do you create policy? And once you have the merger with the Beyond Insight, how smart rules will come in handy. So those people who already have implemented Beyond Trust spam, they must know what is a smart rule. Basically, it is a query which takes certain filters, yeah, certain inputs, and based on that input, it performs some actions. So just we will cover this in detail and explain it in more detail when we will actually cover this. For now, just understand it is a query like an SQL query. It takes some input, select something, and then commit something. Then we have again same thing, integrating privilege management with the group policy, and there are basically different units that you will see upcoming. So these are just the headers for those units. Right, then we have creating and deploying the policy. We will also cover about event centralization. So in each endpoint we will have various events generated, right? Whether a user logged into an application, whether he was not able to log in, whether his rights were elevated or not. So all that are called as event, and that will be uh, gathered in one place, and will be available for reporting and viewing. So for that we need to centralize our events to one place, that we will see in detail. Next, again, we have quick start policy, how to use quick start policy, and additional policy options. Suppose these are quick start and predefined set of rules, but how can you tweak them? How can you change them according to your own requirement? That all thing will be covered here. So this was just the introductory part. Now I would like to start with the introduction to the actual content. that why EPM is required, what exactly it is, and then I will take you through the course. Sharing my screen again. So let me know if it's visible to you. I
Yep,
hope it is
visible.
visible. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this tool that we are talking about, EPM, PMW, a vector defined point, what it is in actual. So you see, there are times when on particular endpoint, suppose let's say our laptop or desktop, we try to install a software and we do not have enough permission to install it, right? For that, what do? We go to our IT support team and ask them for admin rights. Okay, give us admin rights on our laptop or on our endpoints so that we can perform this action. Now, from end user's perspective, from your perspective, it looks okay. Okay, it's my laptop. I should have admin rights. But from a hacker's point of view and from a malicious insider point of view, this is an easy chance to elevate the privileges into the organization, right? And gain more ways to access inside. So that's where the admin rights becomes very risky part and can cause much more damage than one anticipate. So these admin rights should basically not be present or should not be given to the user for longer periods. That's why sometimes IT team also say that for how long you want this access. Suppose I want USB access on my laptop, they will ask me, do you need it for 1 week, 2 week, 1 day, 2 day, so that they can remove it later on. And that admin rights can should not be exploited. It cannot be exploited. Now that is the whole sole reason why EPM tool comes into picture. This tool has a very beautiful, unique feature, which is that suppose Ramakrishnan here, right? He wants to install a software on his laptop, and what he will do, he will log into his laptop and try to install an application, let's say Chrome, for example. And by default, it was not allowed in the organization, and for that he needs admin right. But if EPM tool by BeyondTrust a vector defined point PMW is installed, what this tool will do, even though Krishna doesn't have the admin right, while he's trying to install the application or launch the installer for Chrome, this application will replace the token. So at the back end, whenever we perform anything right, we install something, we open something, or we change the setting from control panel, a token is being passed in the backend to those applications that this is the user and this is what he wants to perform and this is his rights and permission. Now what Beyond Trust do beautifully, Beyond Trust EPM, it replaces that token. It takes that token and changes it, tweaks it, and replaces the token's permission parameter and passes it on to the application. So now, even though user does not have an admin right, an application would consider this replaced or tweaked token that it has admin permissions and I should allow it. So that's how user gets admin permission or permission to do something at runtime. And after that task has been performed, there is no admin rights anymore, right? Until he does the same activity again. And this is about allowing part. Suppose we completely want to disband an application. We do not want it to be launched no matter what. Or suppose there is another user, Silpa, right? So we want, she has a different role and we do not want her to launch PowerShell. Okay, while Ramakrishna needs PowerShell and his user would be able to launch PowerShell, but uh, Silpa has some role and her team and her responsibility restricts her from using PowerShell. So using this tool, we can also configure a policy which will uh, you know uh, completely block the application. So whenever Silpa as a user would launch that application, EPM tool would prevent launching of that application. So all these kinds of rule we can create. All these are very basic use cases. As we go further down into the training sessions, we will see how vast use cases can be covered with this tool, right? So this is just some stats that I have gathered from the internet, of course, that why should we remove admin rights? So Microsoft claims that 80%, 81% of critical vulnerabilities were mitigated if the admin rights were removed from the systems. Similarly, these are different organizations that says that admin rights are mostly the causes of the vulnerabilities, exploitations, and risks. So it is recommended to remove admin rights altogether and provide admin rights just in time. With this, we also ensure some of the compliance factors known as zero trust, 0 day exploits, right? And of course, if we comply to this, we can obviously go for cybersecurity insurances, and we also falls under the green list of policies which may not be followed in India, but yes, they are well looked after, like HIPAA or GDPR. Now, how EPM can help? I have already covered this. It eliminates admin rights to achieve least privilege and zero trust. It manages privileges to empower sysadmins to work efficiently. It elevates privileges of an individual application, task, or script. Whitelisting and blacklisting of application is one use case which I have just covered, right? Where Ramakrishnan and Silpa were two people who were allowed one application, and Silpa was not allowed to launch an application. So that is just basically whitelisting and blacklisting. Then we have logs and events and session recordings and audit capabilities with this tool, so that we can monitor what is actually going on, why uh, a user performs something if anything goes wrong. Moving further, there are various deployment methodologies that are present with the EPM. So we can push our policies using Active Directory. We can push our policies using EPM tool of McAfee, right? We can also push our policy using IC3 Cloud and on-prem. And recently, Beyond Insight is also has become one agent where we can push the policies through. So we can use Beyond Insight as well to push our policies to the endpoints. Then we have this basic workflow of how our EPM tool would work.